Welcome to another chilling descent into the darkest corners of the internet, where morality is currency and curiosity is the deadliest sin. Today, I will take you through a story unlike any you've ever heard. A tale soaked in fear, suspense, and brutal truth centered around a Red Room stream that scarred a soul forever. It begins with a 19-year-old tech prodigy named Elijah Mercer, living alone in a tiny London flat after his parents died in a train crash, who found escape in the deepest layers of the internet. Obsessed with cryptography and darknet code, Elijah built a crawler bot that could bypass the onion encryption and stumbled upon something called Pale-Fire-Gate, a hidden portal that rerouted him into a hidden network far darker than any TOR site he'd ever accessed. Inside this abyss was a page marked only by a flickering blood-red symbol, a circle and a downward triangle. A message blinked slowly. The game starts when you watch. Despite the warnings and his rapidly beating heart, Elijah clicked. What began was a pixelated video feed, a red room, a dim basement, blood-stained walls, metallic sounds, muffled cries. The screen split into two. One half showed the victim, bound to a steel chair. The other half was a chat room with numbers flying across the screen, cryptocurrency bids. Bidders were anonymous avatars. No names, just codes like DRK, 24, Lamb God, and for you too in hell. Elijah's instincts screamed to exit, but his fingers didn't obey. He watched as one user paid 3 BTC to have the victim's fingernails torn off with pliers by a masked man in surgical gloves. A timer ticked. Each second bled tension. Elijah vomited and tried to close the tab, but his system locked. He was inside now, a participant, not a viewer. A private message popped up. You're being watched too. His webcam blinked red. His own face appeared on the corner of the Red Room feed. Panic surged. He unplugged his laptop, tore out his router, but the screen stayed alive like it had a soul of its own. New bids poured in on him. He was now part of the stream. His own room shone side by side with the torture basement. He ran to his door, locked, bolted from the outside. The lights went out. Silence. Then footsteps from the hallway. Elijah screamed into the void, realizing this wasn't a video, this was real time. The Red Room operators had orchestrated a switch. This wasn't just watching evil. This was evil consuming its audience. The intruder entered, a masked figure with a live body cam on his chest, feeding back to thousands of anonymous monsters who were bidding on what would happen to Elijah. Turn around, the chat demanded. Cut off his tongue. Blind him slowly. Every command was met with more BTC. Elijah begged, sobbed, promised silence. But this was entertainment to the faceless mob. He fought, bit, kicked, screamed until his voice broke. But resistance only inflated the bids. The masked man pulled out a scalpel, and the chat room voted. Make him carve out the eye himself. A vote. A countdown. Elijah cried for mercy, but mercy doesn't exist in the Red Room. Just before the knife reached his face, everything glitched. The screen froze. Power returned. Silence. The laptop powered off. The masked man vanished. Paranoia became Elijah's only companion. For weeks, he kept his curtains shut, all devices disconnected. But they still watched. Glimpses of that red webcam light, shadows under the door, USB drives left in his mail. The final blow came when he logged back in his email, just once, to check for hope, and found a video titled, You Were Episode Number 7321. It had over 2.7 million views in a private darknet forum. He was the show. His pain was the product. And worse, he never saw any of it broadcasted, which meant someone else filmed it professionally, edited, soundtracked, uploaded. He saw angles he never noticed. He saw himself crying, begging, fighting, breaking. And the comments? 10 acting. Would love to see him in another episode. Hope they bring him back with fewer limbs. Elijah tried to kill himself 3 times, but they stopped him each time. Not out of mercy, but content protection. He had become digital property, an asset. He had no death rights. Now, he lives in a padded, windowless room funded by an unknown institution, where even his nurses wear tinted visors. Every now and then, a red light flashes in the ceiling, and he knows he's live again. The Red Room never ends. It just changes victims. And somewhere, someone new has clicked that cursed link drawn by curiosity. If you're reading this and think it's just a story, remember Elijah Mercer. He thought the same until he became the stream. So before you explore the dark corners of the web, ask yourself, is what you seek worth being watched forever? Thank you for reading this true-to-horror Red Room tale. Make sure to stay safe online, never follow mysterious links, and subscribe for more dark truth stories that haunt the hidden places of the internet. Until next time, don't click unless you're ready to be seen.